Welcome to Thrive Radio. I'm your host, Amy Montgomery, entrepreneur and digital marketing agency owner. Today, my guest is Garrett Brown. He's a visionary in the world of custom clothing with a philosophy centered on the love of fabrics, cuts, and the individual presence each garment creates. He brings a unique approach to dressing that emphasizes comfort without compromising style. He specializes in attire for weddings and special occasion, and he's here to share insights on how to infuse your personal style into every situation and make a lasting impression with your wardrobe. Join us as we delve into the art of dressing well and finding your visual voice with our esteemed guest. Welcome to the show, Garrett.
Thank you so much for having me, Amy. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And I really appreciate you coming on and talking about what you do, especially in our ever a changing world of working from home and doing all of these things. And I get constant questions every day about style and how you should present yourself. So I'm really excited for our conversation today.
I am too.
Can you share a little bit about your journey, how you started your business, and also the choice you live outside of the fashion capitals of the world and how you've navigated that a little bit?
Absolutely. Amy, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on, and excited to share with your audience a little about my background and why I think the wardrobe that we wear and how we present ourselves is so important. And so I'm in my late 30s now, as the gray hair certainly shows, but I'm definitely part of the generation that grew up. I bought a suit one time in my early 20s. And then the next time I needed to put on a suit, I was in my late 20s. So that suit no longer fit for sure. And I was going to go to an event that was in Atlanta. And this is really what started my suiting journey. And there was a company down in central Arkansas. So I'm in the northwest corner in the Rogers, Arkansas area. And like you said, that is not the fashion capital of any world. So I went down there, saw the manufacturer, grabbed a couple of suits for this event. And honestly, I really liked how I felt in it. And so started building some relationships in the fashion and the garment industry and fabric makers. And through some of those conversations and relationships I built, I went, I can do this. I understand the basic tenants measuring, sitting down with a client. I enjoy working with people. And so really starting my business was really driven twofold. One, I enjoyed wearing the clothes. And so I thought, goodness, if I'm going to spend it and make the investment, it'd be really cool for it to be mine. And the second, I really enjoy working with my clients and ending up seeing their fit, their outfit that we helped create together that had all of their touches, and getting to see them at the event, seeing them in their wedding day, or seeing the groomsmen and everybody up there on that big special day or those big special moments in their life, and getting to see that. And yeah, and I'm in Arkansas because I've always been a Southern boy. I was born in Texas, moved to Arkansas when I was 13, and I've basically been here ever since. Lived in LA for 2 years, and that was the traffic on 91 is not for me. And I like a little slower pace, but I'll get on a plane and go anywhere. So all the big cities are always calling my name just one flight away.
Yeah. That's one thing I love about living here in like Dallas area. This is an international airport. So,
Yep,
if you want to go anywhere, it's pretty easy, but then
it
you
is.
still have a little bit of the South.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you share a little bit about your philosophy of the code of conduct clothier and how it influences your approach to designing custom clothing?
Sure. I think my main approach when I'm working with my clients, or the biggest thing that I want to impart in them, I feel like my part of wisdom there is to have fun with it. And as long as somebody feels comfortable in whatever they're wearing, no one else is going to say anything. Most of the time, our focus is inward. We're wondering how everyone else is viewing us, how everyone else is looking at us as we walk into an event. Are they judging me? Do they think they know me from some other situation? And so we're always thinking about us. And so if I know I'm walking to an event and I'm comfortable in something, and maybe it's a little outside of the norm, I know that other people are going to feel that confidence and they're just going to accept it. So that's a big part of my philosophy is do what you feel works for you and what you're going to feel comfortable in. Because if you're uncomfortable, but you're in style, everybody's going to pick up on it, and it's going to change how you move in the environment. And then the other piece is I want them to be thinking more than just that one piece. And I know we talked about getting into that some, but it's really a philosophy of feeling comfortable and then thinking from a larger perspective on a wardrobe.
Yeah. I think that's so important because I think about, I just wanted to mention this, being in the corporate world where I had to wear suits all the time.
Mhm.
And I would say that they weren't usually comfortable.
Yeah.
I was not into like the pin type skirts, and they look great on everybody else, but it just wasn't for me. But once you find what's comfortable, what's fits, if I'm in a certain corporate scenario where I know I'm going to be going and meeting Fortune 50 consultants at a networking event, I've got an outfit for it. And my go-tos, the things that are timeless and you could just
Yeah.
pull out at any time. And I think that that is so important from the perspective of just speaking of comfort, right? That you pointed out, where a lot of people think, oh, if you dress up, if you're in really nice clothing, sometimes it doesn't feel right. And yeah, so I like your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think that comes to, I always liken it to if you were packaging something and you put it in a cardboard box, the box is pretty rigid. It's designed to hold everything inside, but it's not designed to marry to whatever you're putting in it, more times than not.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like to think of a custom garment more like a clamshell, right? The plastic that's vacuum sealed and it actually fits around whatever that product is. And
Yeah.
so I think of custom clothing being that. So we're starting from you versus maybe going to the store and getting what we call ready wear or off the rack, and then trying to tweak it to fit you. It's almost like taking a cardboard box and splitting the sides and trying to push it down and then tape it up and conserve some of the space there because whatever's inside is different than what the original box was. And that's what the two different approaches. Neither
Yeah.
one is necessarily wrong. It just depends on what you're looking for and what you want to ultimately accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much more power in actually having clothes made for yourself.
It is.
How does someone create an individual presence through clothing? And could you elaborate on how you help clients to express their unique style and personality through your designs?
Absolutely. So I think the first thing is knowing what we're trying to accomplish. Simon Sinek talks about start with the end in mind. Why? What is your, so where are we trying to go? What's this for? And so I'm often asking, because I'm looking at somebody being a long-term client and a long-term partner in their wardrobe. I'm wanting to know what's this for, but what's already in your closet. If maybe this is for you're going to a wedding and you're a groomsman and you have to have a certain color, or hey, we're all doing this together, and so all the groomsmen are going to have the same suits. That's one conversation. But if somebody's coming to me, I'm asking, when's the last time you wore a suit? Do you even have a navy suit? I feel like that is the utility suit that should be in everyone's closet. I feel like you can wear it at a wedding, you can wear it to a business meeting, you can wear it anywhere that you're going. And that allows you to have something that's very versatile. And then we can build off that. And so I think of it like a color story. So as I'm working with a client and we're looking at their first suit, their second suit, maybe it's that third or fourth suit where maybe we're starting to do something with some patterns, maybe a little more bold. Like I wouldn't wear a peak lapel to everything, but I like to stand out when I walk into a room. And so maybe we're doing this, but one of our other solid suits, like I could wear this with a navy pant. So now I'm starting to adjust and I'm taking a jacket and a pant, and we're expanding your wardrobe with no extra investment, just a little creativity in how we're putting it together and what our outfit's going to look like. So I could wear the pants, the trousers that go with this full suit with an off jacket, but it still looks good. And now it looks like a completely new outfit when I walk into a room. So it's really thinking long term and where we're trying to go and building that wardrobe out so that my client, whether it's a man or a woman, are feeling like they have made a real investment and not, gosh, I bought this suit and I wear it once. And when am I ever going to wear it again? Or how can I wear it? It's a funky color, or it's a weird situation that I had it for. And so I'm wanting them to have the long term use out of that investment.
Gosh, I love that because I can't tell you how many, especially for special events like weddings and things,
Hmm.
where you've got to purchase your clothes, and a lot of times they've got the tailors, they got all this stuff, and how much better would it be if you actually had some say in how you're going to be able to use those garments after, because usually they just go in the closet and I'm never wearing
Yeah.
that again.
I, I've talked to many brides and we've made adjustments that still fit with their color coordination, with really what they wanted to see from the wedding. But we made some adjustments so that their groomsmen, even their groom, could potentially, if they're not wearing tuxedos, could
Yeah,
be something that they're able to use long term. And sometimes, if people don't typically wear a suit, uh, having a custom garment is not out of the question from a budget perspective, but it is an investment. And so if we're able to talk through that, it makes that conversation a little bit easier for the groom in that instance, or the groomsmen as well, to think about, hey, it's going to work great for our wedding, but you can wear this on a Friday when you've got to go to an important business meeting. If you've got something else, it can be much more versatile than just that one time. But you're absolutely right there. Sometimes I've made some interesting colors that I imagine those probably hit the closet and haven't come out since.
yeah. So, what are some common misconceptions people have about dressing for special occasions, and how do you address them in your consultations?
So sometimes I find that my clients, let's just be honest, want to do too much. And so some of what they want to do, I have to talk through and go, is this your event? Or are you a guest at this event? Obviously, I'm not doing wedding dresses, so I've never had the mother of the bride come and say, you know what, I really want that white dress to complement my daughter-in-law's dress. But I definitely have had conversations with my clients and said, hey, you're a guest in this situation. Sometimes your clothing can stand out in a way that it can speak volumes without you saying a word, and that can be good or that can be not so great. And so it's helping them understand how you can do smaller things, like maybe a unique pair of glasses that people are going to notice and mention, or maybe it's a unique pocket square, or some type of tie bar. There are things that you can do to make something unique and still give people their individuality, because I think that's an area, especially today, where people really want to communicate often with their dress. And that could be casual wear, that could be something more formal, something in the suit space, and letting them know they can still express themselves while still fitting into the environment they're going in, so that they're not off-putting.
Yeah,
So not looking to create robots or everybody walking in looking exactly the same. And yet you can still coordinate with that event, that function, but still do something that creates some spice so that they know you walked in.
I like that a lot. Especially the suggestions you have of like sunglasses or glasses in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how just that little shift can completely change the impact that you have. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and you don't generally think of that. You think, oh, I got to have the wild this or the massive pop of color or whatever it may
Yeah.
be, but maybe you don't. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the comfort of garments. How do you balance comfort with style when you're creating, especially attire for something like a wedding or something that is a little bit more formal?
So I think there are areas that, especially if we're talking seasonally, like we're getting into wedding season, it's starting to warm up. Even in the production of, and I don't have one on now, but you could have an unconstructed suit, which means, so I'll give an example here. So this one is fully lined, but you can actually do it where it's basically just the shell of the jacket. So it keeps you a lot cooler. It keeps you a lot fresher. So if you are going to be an outside wedding and it's June, July, hopefully maybe in the north you could do it. Down here, whew, July wedding outside, it would be
Oh, yeah.
the bride would be melted, and I don't even wear makeup, and I'd probably be melted. So it's that goes back to earlier. You said, how's that consultation go? Hey, what are we doing? What are we trying to accomplish? Well, I want my guys to look great. It's going to be a June wedding at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, so let's talk about that. So we need to choose maybe some fabrics that are a little more breathable. Can we talk about maybe some linens? Can we talk about an unconstructed? And so it's some of that. But at the same time, we've all heard the phrase beauty is pain sometimes. And so sometimes I may just go, hey, you're gonna have to suck it up for a couple hours. It's not about you anyway.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for you to learn a little humbleness, and maybe an opportunity for you to put somebody else first and make sure that their event, their day is special, and you can look back and know you were a part of that. And maybe you had to sacrifice for a little bit and step outside of the norm for you, or maybe you don't ever wear something like this and you're going, I wear cowboy boots and Wranglers all the time. Today you're not. So thank you for voicing that. We're moving forward. So they can still feel comfortable from a clothing perspective. And then let's just edify them a little bit when they put it on so that they can mentally get in that spot where they feel comfortable too. So I think it's both.
When it comes to wearing something that is custom clothing and it's a nicer piece, a nicer garment, how does that contribute to someone's confidence and overall presence? And specifically, I think about times where maybe I've worn something super fancy. I feel a little bit presumptuous. Maybe I feel like the outfit is, I don't know, something maybe in my mind a celebrity would wear, or someone super fancy, and maybe I don't see myself as super fancy. How do you fit into that? Obviously you go through a whole consultation with somebody to figure out what they're comfortable in, but how do you see that boosting people's confidence and just their overall presence?
I think words matter. And when I talk about words, I'm meaning affirmation. So we all like to be sought after, or to be seen by others as, that you look great. You think about if you've ever been going to the gym and you see somebody you hadn't seen in a little while, and they're like, oh my gosh, you look awesome. And maybe you haven't seen it because you've seen the small incremental changes day in and day out. And now they've seen you 2 months, 3 months down the road. And so they see one shift. I know for me, that makes me, I'm like, oh man, I'm on the right path. And so when we think about clothing, I think that goes back to, if you want to wear that, but you're not ready mentally to own whatever that piece is. Maybe it is a little ostentatious. I've worn some ostentatious stuff. Absolutely. But when I walk in, I've set myself up mentally to be like, no, I look good. It's pressed. It fits me. I know when I walk into the room, I'm not doing too much that I'm going, ugh. Now I have overdressed and ended up somewhere that I thought everybody else was going to be at a different level. And I was the one, and I went, okay, maybe I need to pay a little closer attention to the invite next time. Or, hey, it was an all black event and I missed that. Or somebody brought me and they didn't communicate that piece. And so I showed up in the wrong color. That happened not 3 weeks ago. My girlfriend and I went to an event, and we were all supposed to be in all black. And I love her. She's fantastic, but details are not her thing when it comes to reading. So we walked in. I was in something orange, and she was in something. Oh yeah, it was just a sea of beautiful black garments. And we walked in and went,
Oh, we stand out.
so we walked out and we ran home and changed. So,
Oh, did you really?
oh, absolutely. Yes. She was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. She said, I don't want to be memorialized in all these pictures as the standout. Hey, where's Garrett and Sasha? Like, where's Waldo? No, don't have to search hard to find us. The details matter there. And so helping somebody feel comfortable and not pushing them too far. If my client's going, hey, that's too big. Hey, I don't want a giant peak lapel because that just feels too big and bold. I want a small notch. I want something that I look good, but it's subdued. Awesome. Let's do that. Now, I'm going to wear something like this. Am I going to wear my suit probably almost painted on? Absolutely. So is that everybody's look? It's not. So it's my job also to get a feel for them, understand their personality type a little bit, understand what makes them tick, and not try and put them in my mold. And I think sometimes those of us who are creating garments or are maybe helping style people, we can allow our own personal bias, what we preferences, to end up on the client. And that may not be what the client is looking for. And they may not be at the same level that we are, or looking for the same thing.
Yeah, that's so important. I remember I guess I would say I'm still investigating my own style and the things I'm comfortable wearing. But I remember
Okay.
I decided to go fly to LA
Uh-huh.
and go to some really super fancy places where they actually will take time to style you and tell you what to
Mm-hmm.
wear. And so like I walked in, I was just like, all right, I like your style of clothing. Tell me, style me. And I had this one gal that styled me, but she was styling me based upon her body type.
Mm.
And I'm,
Flag on the play.
yeah, and I'm slender. I'm a thin person, but I'm more your apple shape. So
Okay.
I'm not going to accentuate my waist. And so there's certain types of clothing that I try to veer towards. But man, she was like, no, you don't, let's not hide. I was like, I'm not hiding, but I just look like a box. I need the clothing to do something for me. So you bring
Sure.
up a really important, I think, point in that, in not allowing your own preferences and your own style to get caught up in how
Right.
you look to somebody else.
Yeah. I think that's really important. And then going back to what we were talking about a second ago, sometimes you may have to do something that's a little stretchy a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for a specific occasion. Maybe it's an event and it's a black tie and you've never worn a bow tie. Guess what? We're wearing a bow tie. That's just the event. If you don't want to participate, then don't go to the event. But if the event is important for you to be, then you need to move in a way that is conducive with the community and that particular event as a whole. Or if you're in a wedding and the wedding says, hey, I want all my guests in either black or white, but you don't feel like that's your color palette, guess what? Today it is.
Yeah.
Don't show up and go, my color, I'm a reds and an oranges and a fuchsias. Not today, you're not. So bring a change of clothes and change as soon as you leave the reception if you want to. But play within the norms also of where you're going so that you're a part of that group and you're not standing out and they're going, here's Garrett again. It's always Garrett. Garrett never, so he's always got to be the center. And I do typically end up as the center of attention, but I don't want it to be because they said do this and I just said, I don't really care what you want. This is your thing, but I'm going to take over it anyway and make it about me and show up and be the standout for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We talked a little bit about fashion, ready fashion that you can, the cheapy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things to do, especially if I'm going to invest in something that
Mm-hmm.
is higher value, and
Sure.
I'm not quite sure, is it really, what's it going to look like on me? What is it really my style? Can I really pull this off? I'll buy the cheapy stuff to see what I feel comfortable in and get used to, if this is a different style, what fabrics will actually work with me
Okay.
versus stuff that won't, right? So then that's helped me in my own journey, where then it's okay, I didn't think I could pull off this type of outfit, but I actually can if the fabric gives,
Okay.
or
Sure.
those types of things. And that's allowed me to explore a little bit without
Mm.
going and breaking the bank trying to explore, but then having more of an idea of what I'm actually going to like in the end, and then get those timeless pieces that,
Yes.
where you don't have to keep on buying all these clothes all of the time. And I actually took some inspiration from from our initial conversation, and I started to divide out my closet, because every day I'd go into my closet and there would I'd just be like, okay, I want to be comfortable today, but I have business meetings, I want to be professional. And I'd just look at my closet and just be overwhelmed. So I ended up taking all of my timeless stuff. Instead of, it used to be color coded, just everything color coded, and I would just go in and pick the color. Now
Okay.
it's timeless stuff, that all the timeless stuff that I can wear, and then all the accessory type clothing,
Okay.
or the special occasion clothing on another section. And that has really helped me a lot, because it just helps to, like you were saying, pick that one thing that you're going to use to stand out and be
Right.
unique. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That helped. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
definitely. Definitely did.
It's good
Yeah.
stuff.
So can I ask you, what has been your truth that has gotten you this far in your journey?
Slowing down and really listening. Sometimes we can be moving so fast in a conversation that we're thinking about what we're saying next and not listening to what somebody else is saying and what they're communicating, their needs, wants, or desires are. And so what I'm about to say may not actually be applicable or even relevant to what we're talking about, or it may just be too much through my own lens and what I'm wanting to say. And especially if you're working with somebody who, I don't know, personality type. So I'm a sanguine, which means I like to have fun and party first. And then I'm a choleric, which they're the ones that they're the little kid with all the other kids following them around the playground. And so those are my two personalities. And my choleric, when it comes out, especially if I don't check it, I can quickly dominate a situation or dominate a conversation or a group. And if somebody that isn't a strong, they'll acquiesce. And that's not ever a position I want to put, especially a client of mine who they're coming to me for help, for a service, for guidance. I want to make sure that I'm guiding them based on their unique needs and their attributes. To your point, you said she was trying to dress you based on her. Now, you liked her style, and she went, oh, okay, she just wants to dress like me. Well, that's not what I said. I said, I like the way you dress. So I came to you thinking you could transpose that to me and my shape and what I'm wanting to look and what I'm going to be using it for. And so slowing down and being intentional about the conversation is really important. And then learning people's names and learning how to say it correctly. That's the sweetest word we'll ever hear is our name. And if you're talking to someone and their name is unique and if I don't think I'm going to get it right, or if I think I have it, I'll ask them their name. And I know this isn't about clothes, but I think these interpersonal pieces are really important too. And that's asking, making sure you got it, and then pronouncing it correctly later endears people to you. And maybe in my world, I've endeared a client to me, and now they're sending somebody else to me because of how I helped them feel through what could be an uncomfortable situation for them.
Yeah, that's so important, especially nowadays. I have these conversations with individuals daily about how important it is in this day and age to care.
Mm-hmm.
Just caring about other people and taking an interest in them goes miles and miles, because everything's AI, everything's automation, everything's social media, online, the virtual world versus reality. So when you start to actually interact with people in real life and actually care about them, yeah, that's how you stand out, right?
It really is. It really is.
If you were able to give yourself one piece of advice when you first started out, what would it be?
Goodness gracious. Probably ask more questions to people who have been in this industry and being willing to hear their feedback as data and not criticism, and realize that if you've built a relationship, they're offering you something that if you've opened that space up to receive and take the things that are applicable and pitch the things that aren't. Everything that somebody comes to you isn't necessarily correct. And I would argue more times than not, you're probably going to find some kernel in there that you can go, yeah, that part's real. And so being willing to hear that and do something with that information, I think is really important and can help you miss a lot of potholes in your journey because somebody else pointed it out. And so you took a step left and you didn't have to trip yourself up. You're still moving forward, but now your head might be over your feet trying to regain your balance, as opposed to maybe you just took a step left and walked right past it and kept on your journey without having to stub your toe in the process.
Garrett, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your expertise.
I appreciate you having me. I'm looking forward to getting to see this and looking forward to potentially helping any of your listeners. If they need some help, I'm around.
Yeah, and if there someone that's listening that would love to work with you, what's the best way to contact you?
So if you go to my website, conductclothier.com, it's at the bottom. It's got phone, email, all of those social medias that you can see some of my work. You can also see a few examples on the site, and we can book a consultation and have a conversation about what you're looking for and see if I'm the right fit to help you on your clothing journey.
Perfect. I'll put your links down below. And if
Awesome.
you are listening and you want more information about today's podcast, get the links, get the info, you can visit acalltothrive.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful week.